Everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we are diving into a very important and interesting topic in HTML, and that is HTML iframes. By the end of this video, you will completely understand what iframes are, how they work, when to use them, and all the important attributes that come with them. So make sure you watch this video till the very end. Let's get started. First of all, what exactly is an iframe? The word iframe stands for, let me write here, iframe stands for inline frame. Okay? An HTML iframe is used to display a web page inside another web page. Think of it like a window inside your web page. Though that window you can show another complete website or document right inside your own page. For example, imagine you are building a web page and you want to embed a YouTube video or a Google map or even another HTML page directly inside your page. That is exactly what an iframe does. Now let's look at the basic syntax of an iframe. Okay, so first of all we need iframe tag, then we need to set here the source and we set here URL and then we close it and there is a closing tag. So it's very simple. We write the opening tag as you can see, then we use the source attribute to give the URL of the page we want to display, and then we close it with iframe. For example, if we give it a real I mean the real URL, like we need iframe, then we need source attribute, and we are going to write here https, and we are going to write here for example example.com, and then we close it. Okay, so this will load the website example.com inside your web page. Let me open up the preview so you can better observe the code. So as you can see, the example.com has been loaded. So by default an iframe has a width of let me show you. By default width is 300 pixels, okay, and height is 150 pixels by default. Okay, so but we can easily change this using the width and height attributes. So for example, if we use like this, let me remove this, and we want to add here the source attribute, and then we want to add here https example.com, and then we need here the width attribute, and we can set it to 600. Then we need here the height attribute, and we are going to set it to 400. Then we are closing it. As you can see, we have set the height and width. So here we are setting the width to 600 pixels as you can see, and height to the 400 pixels. You can use any values you want depending on your layout. So you can also set these values using CSS like this. So for example, if you use CSS, let me show you how you can do this. You need here the iframe tag, and then you need the source attribute. For example, you want to add a real website like pacomcqs.online website, and then you need to add some styling like this by using the style attribute. So in the style attribute we are going to set the width. The width is for example 600 px. Then you need here the height attribute. So it's not a head attribute, it's a property of CSS. We are going to set it to 400 px, then we are going to close it. So as you can see, our website will load. So both methods work perfectly fine. So by default, iframes come with a border around them. If you want to remove that border, you can use the CSS like this. For example, you can set here like border, and you can set it to none. Okay, so in this way the border will be removed. So this will make your iframe looks clean and seamlessly integrated into your page design. It is a best practice to always add a title attribute to your iframe. So this is important for accessibility, especially for screen readers used by visually impaired users. Okay, so you can do this like you need here the iframe tag, then you need the source attribute, then you need to write here the URL like pacomcqs.online real website. Okay, and then you can use the title attribute, and inside this title you can write here, for example, best website for tests and quizzes. Okay, then you can close it. Okay, so when always add a meaningful title that describes what the iframe is showing. Understand? So here comes a very cool and useful concept. You can use an iframe as a target for a hyperlink. That means when someone clicks a link, instead of opening in a new tab or the same page, it opens inside the frame. Okay, to do this, we give the iframe a name attribute. Let me show you how you can do this. So for example, you need here the iframe attribute, sorry, tag name, and then you need the source attribute. You're going to write here the URL. The URL is pacomcqs.online, and then what you need next, you need the name attribute, and you're going to write here my frame. Okay, the name is my frame. Then you can set the width. So we are gonna use this width attribute. Then you can set it to 600, and the height attribute we are gonna set it to for example 400, and then you close it. Okay, so and then in the anchor tag we set the target attribute to match that name. Okay, so what we need here, we need here an anchor tag, then we need the href, and we're going to write here https, for example, and we are going to write here, for example, www.wikipedia, okay, .org, and then you are going to set here the target by using the target attribute, and you're going to write here my frame. Okay, then you are going to close it. So what you need here, you need to write here some text like open Wikipedia in the iframe. Okay, so when you write this text, you can see like this. If you click this link, so it will open up the Wikipedia, as you can see. Now when you click that link, as you can see, Wikipedia will open inside the iframe, not in a new tab, not on the same page, but right there in that frame. So this is a very powerful feature. One of the most common real-world uses of iframes is embedding YouTube videos. So let me show you how you can do this. So first of all, we need a link for YouTube video. Okay, so go to any YouTube video, click share, and then click embed, and YouTube gives you an iframe code. Okay, so let me show you how you can do this. So first of all, we need here the iframe tag, and then we are going to set the width. The width is, for example, 560, and we are going to set it to 315. Now what we need here, we need the source attribute, and we're going to paste the link we have copied. Okay, now what we need next, we need here the title attribute, and we're going to use here like YouTube video uh, player. Okay, then what we need here, we need here the frame border attribute. Okay, so it's an attribute, and we're going to set it to 0. Now next we are going to write here allow full screen, and we are going to close this. Just paste this code into your HTML, and that video will play directly on your web page. Okay. Similarly, you can embed a Google map inside your web page using an iframe. So go to Google Maps, search for any location, click share, then embed a map, and Google gives you an iframe code. And let me show you how it looks like. So like for example, you need iframe. Okay, then what you need here, you need the source attribute. Then you are going to write here https colon double slash www dot google.com slash maps, okay, slash embed. Then you need here question mark pb. Okay, then you write here your map details. Okay, here your map details come. Google allow your map details. And what you need next, you need here width. Google gives you 600. Then there is a height 450, and there is a style that is a border, and we are going to set it to 0. Google also gives you this, and you set the allow full screen method, and you're gonna close this. Now there is a loading method that allows you to set, for example, lazy, and you are gonna close this tag. So paste this into your HTML, and a live interactive map will appear on your page. As you can see in the preview tab too, our map has been opened. Now let me walk you through all the important attributes of the iframe tag one by one. So first of all, we have the source attribute. Okay, the source attribute. So what does this do? So this is the most important attribute. It specifies the URL of the page to embed. Okay, URL page to embed. How you can do this? So for example, you need here the iframe attribute, iframe tag, and then you need the source attribute. So for example, you write here https parkomcqs.online, then you close this tag. So it will add, it will add the website into the iframe. There is another attribute that is width and height, where you can add this. You can add like here. For example, the width is we are going to set it to 800, and the height is we are going to set it to 500. So you can check the effect in a better way. There is a third title, that is the uh, title attribute. There is a third attribute, that is the title attribute. So I can use this. Let me show you. You need iframe tag, and then you need the source tag, source attribute. You are going to paste the URL here. Then you need here the title attribute. You are going to write here, for example, description of content. Then you're gonna close this. So in this way you can use the title attribute. There is another attribute, that is frame border. So let me show you how it works. So you need the iframe tag, then you need the source let me show you the source attribute. Okay, and then you're going to paste here the URL. Then you need the frame border attribute. So frame border attribute, you just need to write frame border, and you're going to set it to 0. Then you close it. So this is an older attribute, now replaced by CSS, that was used to show or hide the border. A value of 0, if you set it to 0, it will remove the border. Okay, and there is another attribute, that is allow full screen, we have used earlier. So how you gonna do this? You need iframe attribute, iframe tag. Then you need the source attribute. You're gonna paste the URL here, and now you need to write this attribute allow full screen, and then you're gonna close the tag. So this attribute allows the iframe content like a video to go full screen when the user clicks the full screen button. Understand? And there is another attribute, that is that name is loading. So let me show you how you can use the loading attribute. You need the source attribute, you're going to paste the URL, then you need the loading attribute. So inside loading attribute, you're going to write here lazy. Okay, so you're gonna close this. So this controls how the browser loads the iframe. It can be eager, load immediately, or lazy, load only when it comes into view. So using lazy is great for performance because it saves bandwidth. Understand? And there is another attribute, that name is name attribute. So how you gonna do this? So you need iframe tag, then you need the source attribute, and you're gonna paste your URL here. You need here name attribute, and inside name you're gonna use like name my frame, and you're going to close this tag. So as we discussed earlier, this gives the iframe a name so links can target it. Okay, so the eighth attribute is very important, and that is the sandbox. Let me show you how you can use this. So you need iframe tag, then you need the source attribute, and you're gonna paste your URL here. So you need the sandbox attribute. If you don't do anything here, just close it. So this is a very important security attribute. Okay, the sandbox attribute restricts what the embedded content can do. When you add sandbox, it blocks scripts, forms, pop-ups, and more by default. Okay, so you can selectively allow certain things using like if you use, for example, sandbox. Okay, and you can use here the allow scripts property, and you set it to close. So if you close this, so you can allow certain things. uh, if you allow, for example, we have allowed here the allow scripts, it will allows JavaScript to run, and there are allow forms. Okay, so it will allow the form submissions, and there is an also another property, that name is allow same origin. It will allows the iframe to access cookies and local storage. And there is another property, that name is allow pop-ups. It will allow the pop-ups. So this is extremely useful when embedding third-party content to keep your site safe. Okay, so then there is another ninth attribute, that name is src doc, source doc. Okay, so let me show you how you can use this. So you need iframe attribute, sorry, iframe tag, then you need the source doc attribute here, and you are going to use here the paragraph tag. Okay, so inside paragraph you are going to write here like hello, I am inside an iframe. Okay, so what you need here, you need to close the paragraph tag. So when you close this, you just need to let me show you how you can do this. So in this, as you can see, instead of loading an external URL, source.doc lets you write inline HTML directly as the iframe content. This is useful for quick inline content without needing a separate page. So there is a last and 10th attribute, and that is the allow attribute. So let me show you how you can do this. So you need iframe tag, then you need the source attribute, and you're gonna paste your URL here. Then you need the allow attribute, and you're gonna use the, for example, camera. Okay, then you need this, and you're gonna write here like microphone. Then you need this, and you're gonna write here like full screen, and you're going to close this tag. So this attribute controls permission for the iframe like camera, microphone, full screen, etc. Okay, now let's talk about something very important, and that is security. Iframes can be a security risk if not used carefully. So first of all, never embed content from the untrusted sources. If you embed a malicious site, it could harm your users. The second is always use the sandbox attribute when embedding third party content. This limits what that content can do on your page. Third is some websites block themselves from being embedded in iframes. They do this using an HTTP header called Xframe options. For example, Google, Facebook, and many banks cannot be embedded inside iframes. If you try to embed them, you will see a blank iframe or an error. The fourth is there is a concept called clickjacking, where an attacker hides a malicious iframe over a legitimate button. To protect against this, website use the Xframe options or content security policy headers. As a developer, you should be aware of this. So let me now show you a complete working example using everything we have learned. Okay, so we need here the doc type HTML, then we need the HTML tag, and we are going to set the language to English. Okay, now we need here the head tag, and inside head we are going to use the meta char set, and we are going to set it to UTF-8. Now we need here the title attribute, and we are going to write here HTML iframe example. Okay, it is our title. Now let me start the body tag. So inside the body we need here the h1, I mean the heading one. I'm gonna write here my web page with. Okay, so what we need next, we need here the comment. The comment is, let me add the comment, and the comment is iframe as a link target. Okay, it is our comment. Now let me add the iframe as a link target. So before this, we are going to set first of all, this is the second, and we are going to write here first of all basic iframe. Basic iframe. So let me add the basic iframe. So we need here the h2, I mean the heading 2, and we're going to write here edit page. Okay, so we need here the iframe tag, then we need here the to write here like source attribute, and we are going to write here like https mcqs.online. Okay, now what we need next, we need here the width attribute. I'm going to set the width. The width is for example 600, and I'm going to set the height is 400. Okay, now let me set the title. The title is for example Paco MCQs dot online. Okay, it is the title. Okay, now let me set the style. The style is, I'm going to use the border property, and I'm going to set it to none. Okay, now let me set the for example the loading, and the loading is the property, and I'm going to set it to lazy. Okay, now I'm going to close this tag. So okay, now let me add another iframe, and this time the iframe will be, let me write here, iframe will be iframe as a link target. So how we're gonna do this, we need here the h2, the heading 2. I'm gonna write here click a link load in the frame below. Okay, so we are gonna do this like, first of all we need here href anchor tag and a link, and we're gonna write here https www.wikipedia.org. Okay, then we are going to set the target. The target is wiki frame, and we are going to write here close this tag. Okay, now I'm going to write something like open. Okay, so now let me show you how you can do this. So you need like this. Okay, now what we need here, the breaking line tag, and we need again this tag. So we are going to start another iframe. Okay, now inside this iframe tag we need the name attribute, and we are going to write here wiki frame. And now we need to set the width. The width is 700, and we need to set the height, and the height is 400. Now let me set the title. The title is Wikipedia. Okay. Now let's set the style, and the style is, for example, I'm gonna set the border is 2px solid hash triple c. Okay, now let me close this tag. So we are gonna close this. Okay, so now let me start another iframe tag. So this time, let me show you. This time the iframe with the source doc. Okay, now let's start. First of all, we need the h2, I mean the heading 2, and I'm gonna write here inline and iframe. So we need here the iframe tag. Okay, and inside iframe tag we need first of all the source doc. So before we do this, let me show you how you can do this. So you need iframe tag, then you need here the for example source doc. Okay, and we are gonna write here, for example, h2, and I'm gonna write here like hello. Okay, now we need to close this tag. So first of all, we need here like this h2, we are gonna close this, and we need to start here the paragraph tag. The paragraph is this content is written, let me write some text, is written in the source doc attribute. Okay, now let me close this tag, and we are gonna close the paragraph tag too. Okay, so now what we need next is we need the width attribute. So the width attribute, I'm gonna set the width to 400, and inside the height we are gonna set it to 200. Okay, now let me set the title. For example, the title is title attribute, by using the title attribute. Okay, and the title is inline iframe. Okay, now let's close this tag and close the iframe and body and HTML. Okay, so let's look at how clean and organized this is. As you can see, okay, as you can see, this is clean and organized. So in this way, you can do this. So we have three iframes, one loading an external site, as you can see, one acting as a link, this is opening an external website, one an opening tag, and a target link, and one using the source doc. So as you can see, alright, let's do a quick recap of everything we covered today. An iframe stands for inline frame and is used to embed one web page inside another. The source attribute sets the URL to load, width and height control the size. So if you use the style is equal to border set to none, it will remove the default border. The name attribute lets you use an iframe as a link target. And if you use the allow full screen attribute, it will enable full screen for videos. If you set the loading to lazy, it will improve the web page performance. The sandbox attribute adds important security restrictions. Then there is a source doc lets you embed inline HTML content. Always add the title attribute for accessibility. Be cautious about the security. Use sandbox, avoid untrusted sources, and know that many sites block iframe embedding. And that's it for today's video. You now have a complete understanding of HTML iframes from the basics all the way to security. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to so you never miss any update, and drop any questions you have in the comments below. I read every single one. See you in the next video. Take care. Happy coding.